Content. You already know as an agency how important it is to marketing campaigns. Pretty much everything that you do for clients, whether it's SEO, Facebook ads, email marketing, it needs content. It needs really good content. Now, I would be willing to bet everything in my bank account that you as an agency are not creating content for yourself. It's almost a little bit hypocritical. You push it on your clients, you insist that they do it, but you look at your own website, your own YouTube channel, your own podcast, and it's non-existent. And I get it. Me, if anyone, knows exactly how much time and energy it takes to create content consistently for your business. However, nobody's coming to save you. If you want more leads, you want more clients, you got to create content and you got to do it consistently. So I'm pulling out a video from our private coaching program where it's going to show you our approach to creating content for agencies. The best part about this is you don't need to do a ton of it. You just need to do a couple of really good pieces every 90 days. And I promise you, it will keep your pipeline filled. There's also a blog post that I wrote that goes along with it. It breaks down a lot more examples that I'm going to show you in this video. This video is all about understanding how to attack problems and solve them using clients. It's key to using content to get more clients. So with that being said, let's get into it. Now that we've talked about how to strip down and simplify your website, let's talk about how to populate that with some very basic content ideas. So if you go back into the blueprint training in the lead generation module, there is some videos in there that talk about how to come up with content topic ideas for your agency. I decided to go back to the drawing board and strip it down mainly because it was just too much work. And the goal here is to have you put in a little bit of effort to get the most results. So I don't want to have you doing hours and hours of research and content planning. I want to strip it down. And I also want to remove the excuses from you before we talk, which is you can't write, you're not good on video, you don't have time. I'm just going to tell you right now, I don't care, and the market doesn't either. Content is something that you have to bake into your plan if you want to get your agency to where your goals are. So what I want to do is give you a framework that focuses a little bit more on the problems and how you can help solve those problems as opposed to just creating all sorts of content from an SEO point of view, right? To rank in, for top funnel searches and the whole marketing funnel, etc. Let's just strip it down. You don't need a ton of content, but you do need a handful of content. And I feel like if I can get you to understand what that handful of content looks like, then you'll be able to build on that and scale out your practice as you go. Ideally, you'd create a new piece per week. That's what we do. I launch a new video every week, and then we follow it up with blog posts and emails and social media posts. But what I'm going to do is give you the bare minimum here, and I'm going to hold you accountable for it. So I'm going to challenge you to come up with 5 really, really good topic ideas that will really impact your target customer, your target persona, and will really help them out. And that's what I want to focus on in this video here. And really what I want to focus on is you being an expert and you being a source of really good information for your target customer. So this is kind of part of a larger conversation that we had during offer design and during positioning. But if you're not able to speak to the problems of that target customer, then you're not qualified to run a service for them. It's just point blank. So if you're not able to come up with topic ideas, you're really struggling to really understand what they care about, you might want to go back and revisit your position and your offer because you're not maybe the best qualified person to work with that company. So we really want to turn you into an authority, a wealth of knowledge on how to solve the problem for that target customer. And content is really the best way to showcase that, especially when we're talking about trying to attract cold audiences. So this is very similar to the jobs to be done framework, in that we're not looking at a ton of top funnel keywords or doing a ton of research. It's really just about teaching them about how to use and utilize your product or service, really your service in this case, and then teaching them how to get results. So we unpacked that a little bit more. I came up with 5 different kind of content buckets that you can go after to come up with these 5 content topics. So the first one is really, I want you to start with coming up with that micro conversion, right? What is going to be that webinar, that VSL, that gated piece of content that we can use to put behind some sort of email or phone number wall, something that's really valuable to them, enough for them to give a piece of their personal contact information in exchange for it. And really what we want to do there is we just want to showcase how to solve your client's problem. Just tell them straight up, this is how we're going to solve your problem. This is the problem you're having. This is our exact process to do so. The next one up is how to solve the roadblocks of your client's problem. So again, we go back to that offer design when we're looking at this is where they are, this is how to get here, these are the 3 things that we're going to do. We can just create content around those things that we're going to do because those are the roadblocks that they need to get them from where they are to where they need to be, and we want to showcase that with content. We're essentially going out and we're pretty much put into content how we're going to deliver the service, because at the end of the day, I know that even if you show someone how to do it, you're really getting paid for the execution. You're really getting paid for that extra 5 to 10% to take them to where they are. Just showing them what you're going to do is a really good way to convince them that you are the right vendor to help them with that problem. Another good one is useful templates to solve problems. And of course, client case studies, as many of those as possible. And then the final one here is just high-level, interesting roundup. So hopefully what you're seeing here too is these 5 pieces of content really map perfectly to the 5-page website that we talked about, right? We had a page dedicated for the micro conversion, how to solve roadblocks. These could be blog posts, these could be videos, these could be resource guides, podcasts, what have you. Useful templates. This is another really good kind of like pre-top funnel, really good way to break the ice, especially when we're talking about running traffic to cold audiences, right? Whether that's a LinkedIn post that you're just posting, hey, I've got this case study, you want to check it out? Or hey, I've got this like calculator, you want to check it out? People will comment, you can send it to them. We use it in our Facebook group. We also, of course, run Facebook ads to it as well. So this is just a really good kind of top funnel icebreaker for folks to get them in. Very useful and really used to broker conversations. Client case studies, of course, this maps directly to your reviews pages. The more of these we have, the better that it's going to be. And what we can do is really build longer form blog content, video content around these case studies. Because at the end of the day, man, if you get a target customer to watch a case study, then they should be money in the bank for a client, right? Because they're going through, they're seeing your process, they're seeing the results. You know, if you're not getting clients off your case studies, and then you're not making them enticing or engaging or interesting enough, which we can talk about during coaching sessions to how to unpack those a little bit more. And then the final one here is, again, just high level, interesting roundups. Things that are, again, going after the more top funnel, because we've got mid funnel here, we've got mid funnel here, and we've got mid bottom funnel here. These are all kind of like really chunky, almost marketing and sales collateral. And then we want something up high that's going to be a little bit more interest based. So let's go through a bunch of examples for how this would look like in practice. So again, we go back here. This is going back. Hopefully you're starting to see more and more consistencies and congruencies with what we're teaching here. When we go back to our offer design here, we want to use this as a starting point for the content that we're going to create. So we're talking about if you're an agency, we're targeting agencies who want to get to 6-figure months. The 3 things we're going to do is help them pick a niche, productize their service, generate steady leads, and then they'll be a happy client, right? So the first one here, again, this is going to be the micro conversion, how to solve your client's problems. Here's an idea. This is actually pretty much what we're doing and we're running on the website, how to go from 50K to 100K per month with the BP3 framework, right? So we're actually running this on our website right now. You can check it out. It's our micro conversion. Essentially what we're doing is we're teaching our framework, but we're enticing people to opt in by really targeting their problems, and targeting the problems very specifically too, because we want to get people in to watch this video, to read this page, that are pre-qualifying themselves based on what the topic is. So if you're not doing 50K a month, if you're not struggling to get to 50K to 100K a month, then you're probably not going to be interested in watching this. And that's fine, because the clients that we help per se are the ones that go from 50 to 100. This is actually not the right number, but you're getting the point, right? You can use the copy and you can use the topic of the content to qualify and entice people, right? So again, we're talking about niching and cutting things off. This is a perfect example of how hyper-focusing is going to bring in the right folks, and we're just going to show them how to solve their problem. And then within this BP3 framework, I literally have a video where I walk you through how to do these 3 things. And then, there's constant offers to upgrade to a free call to talk to us and talk to our team throughout the video to ultimately become a sales lead, right? So it's a very seamless and automated process to entice people. We just got to drive traffic to the page. And then if we can get them to watch the video, it's kind of like a timeshare. You're probably watching this because you probably saw this video. It's a very simplified and streamlined way. And this applies to agencies and attracting really any sort of B2B lead as well. So the next one up is how to solve the roadblocks for your client. So again, just going directly after these pillars. Should you select a niche for your agency? This is something that's always talked about, always searched about. This would map directly to this pillar here. How productizing our agency, triple leads. Again, very enticing piece of content. Don't necessarily know what productizing means, but it maps directly to one of these pillars. And then the best agency lead gen tactic in 2021. Very straightforward, obviously. So you can see here how these 3 topics, solving the roadblocks of our potential client, are also very interesting to them. We're helping them out. We're teaching them something. Again, going back to those jobs to be done, is we want to teach them about our service or our product, and we want to show them how to get results. These are all going to do that. I don't have a problem giving that all away, because at the end of the day, I know that most people are going to need more help. And most people don't have the time. Most people need a framework. They need a little bit more. They need hands-on coaching. They need hands-on execution, done for you services. That's where you can come in to showcase, hey, I know your problems are. Here's proof that I know how to solve it, without showing them a million case studies and testimonials, but just showing them your process that they're inherently interested in, because that's a problem that they're having, and then enticing them to become a client after that. So the next one up is useful templates to solve problems. Project plan template, SEO proposal template. We've been running these on Facebook, getting $2 leads for the last 2 years. Incredibly impactful way to bring people in from cold audiences, also grab a piece of their email. So this is kind of like the pre-step to the micro conversion, right? Sometimes we'll run this as kind of remarketing traffic or mid-funnel traffic to people on the website. This type of stuff is very, very high level, very interest-based, very emotional based, right? We can get somebody to opt into for a proposal template pretty easily. We're just bringing them into our ecosystem. So we'll talk more about that as we go through this as well when it comes to paid traffic. Client case studies, increasing leads from 13 to 2,000 per month. Again, if you're an agency, it maps directly to this one. It's also a case study. You get the deal there. Then the final one here is high level interesting roundups. So 5 profitable niches for agencies. So again, you can see that just because this is high level, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to map to what we're talking about. It's just how we're positioning this in a little bit more of a lighthearted way. Again, when you think about breaking through to cold audiences, they're probably not going to want to read maybe like the ultimate guide to SEO for dentists. It's just a lot. It's heavy. It also just might not be something of interest to them. But if you're going something much more high level interest based, again, profitable niches for agencies, 5 of them, it's going to be a roundup format. It's going to be much more digestible. Again, when we think about being able to get people's attention that have no idea who we are, this is more of the content that will work better for that. So let's go through another example. SEO for doctors. The pillars are keywords and on-page, content, links, and then ultimately rankings will make them a happy client. So let's go through how to solve their problems on the micro level. Ranking your dental practice first in Google in 2021. Literally. This is what they want. This is what we're going to show them how to do. And we're going to show them our entire project plan. We're going to show them our entire process. We're going to show them client results, and we're going to show them deliverables. So moving to the next one, how we're going to solve the roadblocks, how to structure a doctor's website, right? When it comes to keywords and on-page, a lot of this is going to be structuring. And again, we also always want to keep in mind, we always want to keep this in the language of the target customer here. So really digging in, I don't work with dentists, right? Or doctors, sorry, whatever this is here. But whatever we're looking at here, and I apologize, this is dental doctors, but you get the idea here, right? We really want to keep the language in something that is going to be understandable and relatable and interesting and engaging to the person who's ultimately going to consume it. So one of the things when we're working with clients that are a little bit less sophisticated when it comes to SEO or marketing is really understanding what they do understand and understanding what they care about. Again, this is part of your job, is really digging into and twisting the screws, if you will, on what this person cares about, what they understand, and what makes them tick. What is going to make them interested in this stuff? So this all goes hand in hand, right? Understanding what their pain points are, but even taking that a step further and understanding how they feel about those pain points. We want to push that into our content. Is content important for doctors? So a lot of this stuff too, as you're going through the sales process, as you're having more conversations, they're going to ask you questions, right? All you have to do is create content around those questions. It's probably one of the best tips that I can give you is as you start working more with these clients, coming up with topic ideas based on what they're going to ask you during the sales process. So really be in tune with what they're talking about, the follow-up questions that they have, because these are easy things that you can create topics around. Next one up is useful templates. This one's a little bit challenging, but is your dental website maximizing leads? And it could be a quiz. Quizzes are another really high-level, lightweight way to pull people off of social networks, cold traffic, and just get them into your ecosystem, grab their stuff. Quizzes are really great. Client case studies, straightforward, increasing dentist leads from 13 to 50 per month. And then high-level, interesting roundups, 3 pieces of content every dental website needs. Again, I apologize going from dental to doctor, but they're pretty much the same thing. So that would be SEO for doctors, just some kind of frameworks to go through content. So let's say you're doing SEO for Shopify stores. A little bit different here. There's a lot of tech work involved, keywords, on-page content, links, and then they care about revenue. So let's go into this one. How to solve their client problems is the micro one. 500K to 2 million, the Shopify growth framework for 2021. I always love putting kind of the date in here because it just kind of drives home, or the year, whatever it is that we're talking about. It also then becomes something that you can update every year, right? So again, so when we're talking about this being a framework, you're going to want to keep this stuff updated. If you're only going to do 5 to 10 pieces of content per year, but that's fine. But if it's evergreen content, if it's something that they're always going to care about, then you just keep updating the same thing. So even more context for this. So again, we're getting specific here. You're targeting Shopify websites that are smaller, they're startups, they're just getting the ball rolling, and now they need help taking the next step. So what we want to help them do is go from 500 to 2 million, or whatever that number is. You're working with them, you know better than I do, by showing them the Shopify growth framework. And of course, you probably want to make this organic growth framework. But either way, just getting them in with a growth framework and then convincing them that SEO is going to be the best way to go from 500 to 2 million, and then showing them how SEO can help them do that. Give them examples, give them case studies, show them how other sites have done it, even if you haven't worked with them before, right? Just doing research on Shopify stores that have grown and reverse engineering that and using that as part of your strategy, right? That's interesting, that's engaging, they care about that. And it's a weird thing, but you'll weirdly get credit if you're just citing those case studies because you're showing that you know how to do it, and then you can show examples of how you executed it as well. So again, this micro is a super important piece of content that we're going to be working on significantly as you go through this program. So going through and solving some roadblocks, how to overcome URL issues in Shopify. A lot of people on Shopify know that they have wonky URLs. Again, this is something that I know because we don't really do that much e-commerce SEO, but I always know whenever we do talk to a Shopify store during the sales process, they always say like, yeah, we have issues with URLs. We know about it. We don't know how to fix it. If you know how to fix it, then that's a great piece of content that you can talk about to solving roadblocks. There's not only a ton of search volume there, but there's a ton of interest volume there from just, again, sales collateral, promoting that to cold audiences. You can literally target Shopify store owners on Facebook and just run that to them and get them to your website. It works really, really well. Useful templates here. Steal this blog post template for Shopify stores. Again, if you're working with Shopify stores doing content, then I'm sure you've come up with some sort of content templates. I know we have content templates that work really well for B2B SaaS, which we work in. We're actually working on turning those into blog posts now. Really good high-level stuff to get them to opt into. Also showing them results. Case study, straightforward. 210% organic lift for Shopify store. And then high-level interesting roundups. 3 proven content formats for Shopify store. So again, you can see how all these things are still mapping directly to these pillars. We're just kind of spiking them off in different ways. And what we're also going to talk about soon after we get to the content is distribution and how we can take, starting with this very simple thing, just create a couple of simple content topics that are still mapping here, and then understanding where to push these things and how to push them and how much to spend to get them in front of your target audience as well. So this will all stay consistent and congruent, and it's all about here solving this one pain point for one type of client. So the final one that I'll go through here is SEO for B2B SaaS. This is again something that we're really pushing our agency to specialize more and more in. So the micro conversion here is a SaaS SEO, 0 to 30 MQLs from organic search. Again, very specific, speaking in their language. They use terms like MQLs and SQLs. So we want to make sure that we're speaking their language and using their copy, solving roadblocks, creating a scalable content campaign for SaaS companies. I know that they have a huge issue with keeping up with content production. So let's talk about how they can do that. Useful templates to solve problems. SEO project plan template. This is another pretty easy one too, right? That you guys can feel free to use, just giving away your SEO project plan for that niche. It's working well for us right now for the blueprint. We're getting like $5 leads, but it's SEO project plan for agencies to use for clients. You can also do this, like we're giving away our SEO project plan for you to use if you're a Shopify store. Follow it step by step and then try and convert them that way. Case studies, again, very straightforward. And then high level ones, SEO versus PPC for SaaS companies. So this is kind of a cool one that we're digging more into, as well as doing more like these comparison stuff, right? Comparison guides work really well. We actually learned this from doing B2B SaaS. Comparison guides work really well in terms of software. So, comparing different marketing channels for your specific type of industry can work really well too. Running it as paid traffic. Also just ranking it in organic search as a distro channel, because ultimately if people are searching SEO versus PPC, you can convince them that SEO is the way to go, or PPC, or whatever it is that you're doing. Maybe you're doing both. Convince them on your framework and get them to opt in through that as well. So I just want to wrap this up by kind of reviewing my process and framework to ideate and then validate content. It's pretty straightforward though, because we already talked about it. So we want to start with the problems. Just brainstorm, list the problems that you know that they're experiencing, drill into the pillars, explore them, aka your solution in more detail, tap into their interests, what type of content will catch and hold their attention, and then we're going to add them to the content workbook, which we'll talk about in the next video, for how to ideate and store this stuff. So in terms of validation, after you come up with these things too, it's not just enough to just be like, oh, well, I think this is something that they're having, or I know this is something that they're having. We also want to do some additional research, which you already know how to do, so I'm not going to spend time on it, just giving you kind of a high level process to do so. The first thing I'll always do is when I come up with a topic like SEO versus PPC, I'll just dump it into Google and just see what's ranking, see what type of content is out there, just to make sure it kind of matches up with what my strategy was. Or to see if I have a unique opinion to add to it, something better. And also just to kind of check on the demand and volume. So just the way to do that is then I'll take like the top URL that's ranking and then just pop it into Ahrefs or SEMrush just to see what type of keywords it's ranking for, what type of volume it's generating. Again, we're not just here to rank things in SEO, but at the end of the day, if we can get our posts and our content to rank in search because it's a topic that people are searching for, then that's like a huge extra bonus. Our main thing here is going to be pushing it quickly through social media and advertising, but the long-term play is always going to be organic search. You already know that. So after that, I like to do some research on YouTube too, just to see, video conversations are always a little bit different than blog post conversations, to see kind of what's popping on YouTube, see if people are talking there, see if there's an angle for us to create video content around it, if people are searching for it, if they're interested in it, if people are getting a lot of views around this topic, and then social media as well. I'll just usually jump on Twitter, sometimes on Instagram, just kind of see. And this just mostly comes less from research and more from just kind of being active in your community, right? Following people in the space, either like top influencers or customers, to see what they're talking about, what they're posting about. If you're working with doctors, it might be in your best interest to find doctors that are active on social media and see what they're like posting on their Instagram stories on a daily basis, see what's working for them, and just steal from them, just reverse engineer, understand, get involved in the community, and these things will start to come naturally to you. I promise you, when I go through content topic ideas now, I don't even have to go through any really ideation or validation process. I just know because I'm living it and doing it every day. I work with agencies every single day. I talk to you every single day. I'm very in tune with our sales and marketing and customers and everything. And it flows naturally. It becomes an easy thing for us to talk about. And we're just joining the conversation and actually leading the conversation too, by positioning ourselves as people that know this so well that we create a lot of content around it, and we're here to help. And if you're experiencing these problems, then ultimately there's more that we can do together in order to get you there. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thank you for watching. Now, I want to extend you a special offer. If you like this type of content, if you want more training like this, you have got to join our Pro Slack community for agencies. It's where this video was originally posted. You'll get immediate access to content like this, plus an entire team of coaches and an amazing network of really smart agencies and consultants just like yourself that are up there sharing knowledge every single day. Whatever you post gets a guaranteed reply within 24 hours. Hit the link below, and hopefully I will see you in the community.